My name's Paul Dowding. I'm the site carpentry tutor here at the Building Crafts College. We're going to go on a guided tour around the building, both buildings, to show you the work that we do here at the college. At this campus we teach bench joinery, fine woodworking, stonemasonry and a degree in heritage and conservation work. We teach bench joiner apprenticeships. We run full-time diploma courses, so you have a mix of both people already in industry and learning the trades, and also people who want to get a foot in the door and learn a little bit about bench joinery.
Okay, so here at the Building Crafts College, I look after level 2 apprentices. They're here on their first year. They're coming up towards the end of their first term. So what they get to do now is they get to design some of their own projects using some nice hardwood. We go for a company called Blumson, and we've been with them now for a good few years. So we've built up quite a good relationship with them. And I know at the moment, you know, timber is quite hard to sort of come by, but through stock and through a little bit of begging here and there, we managed to get a few bits and pieces in. Not copious amounts, but certainly enough for the students to do some nice intricate projects. She's got some walnut in here, and she has some birch inset there as well. And this is her other project that she's doing. So this is inlaid dovetails, some nice beech walnut that's inset into it to give a nice inlay detail. The way that Manny produced this, she laminated our timbers together, run them through on the dimension saw to get the angle, very carefully planed them down to bring them to the right sort of shape.
Where it goes together with the mortise and tenons, but on this side it will angle. So it won't be, it's not a straight cut with the mortise and tenons, it's angled. So there's a finished product over there that you can see. The middle rail, which I'm working on, is actually angled, yeah.
Oh blimey, I know, yeah.
You know what that is called? When that is angled going into that there. What would we call that?
Gun stock, isn't it?
That's correct. That compensates for our rebate on our top part of our door. We've got a groove inset for a panel to go in, and that's very traditional for how doors are made. Panels normally at the top, because you normally have a bit of glass inset in the top bit there. In the bottom here, you normally have panels set into grooves. They're not set into a rebate. If they were set into a rebate, they'd be easy to kick through or pull out. It's very easy for people to break easily out. So this is a very traditional way of doors being constructed, and the only way we can compensate from that 10mm rebate to bring it flush with the bottom of our rail there is to create a gun stock detail on our rails.
So what are you up to then, my friend?
So basically there was a competition the other week, which I didn't go in for, but I'm taking it on and seeing how I get on with it. Pretty much it really, just cracking on, see how I go.
So what's the finished product?
It's actually this little step ladder, 3-step step ladder.
Oh, is it?
On the bench there, yeah. This is what you'll be given on your test day. It's a random piece on the test day. You don't actually know what you're going to get until you turn up. And they'll just give you the plan, they'll go, okay, make that, and you've got a day to do it. And so far I've spent all day doing this. So
Blimey, that's a lot to do in a day, isn't it?
It is, yeah, it is.
Blimey, the joint's bigger than the thing.
Yeah, it's all to scale.
Is it? Oh, right.
So we can actually lay these pieces of wood on here and copy the measurements across.
Got it. Oh, yeah. Clever.
Probably took a week or two, but it's half week, so a week. And then the rest of it probably only took a couple of days.
The fine woodworking department, which is on the mezzanine floor here, and this is where they learn everything fine woodwork related, from furniture making, staircases and the likes, using quite exotic timbers and woods and using traditional methods of joinery. We have our machine shop, which is where the bench joiners and the fine woodworkers alike get to come down and learn to use their big machines. They get to learn how to machine their joints, whether it be like the mortise and tenons using the mortiser and the tenoner. They also get to use the table saws. You've got the big bandsaw blades, table saw blades, and various cutting tools. This is the section where they store the timbers for both joinery and the fine woodworkers. And having the bigger section timbers allows us to be able to mill the material ourselves. So in this little workshop at Kennard Road is where we teach wood turning. Students can learn to turn spindles, giving profile and shape to timbers. They also learn to make things from cups and bowls, and just from the wood turning courses that we hold. So welcome to the stonemasonry department. This is where our stonemasons learn their trade. Again, they have apprentices. A lot of people call stonemasonry a bit of a dying art or a dying trade. A lot of our apprentices here have worked or still work at the likes of many of our big cathedrals. All of the work that's displayed here, and even the work displayed over top of the office for the staff members, is all student made. From the carving into the stone for the lettering, to the shapes and the profiles of the faces, to the up the top and the clock up top. It was engraved by students, and the stone was also made by the students. Some of our apprentices work over at Canterbury Cathedral and the likes. You know, they're not small. You know, they're quite big places to be able to get good work on, and whether that be small repairs to piecing new pieces together. I'd like to introduce Nigel. He's our stonemasonry head tutor and also the construction manager here at the Building Crafts College.
And health and safety.
And the health and safety consultant.
Poor old you. As you can see, the stonemasons are training here. We use Portland stone, Bath stone, Lancaster, Tadcaster, a bit of marble now and again. So we've got quite a range.
So this is the bricklaying workshop, because obviously it's not sunny all the way through the year. The bricklayers come in here and they work inside. So this is a bit of tuck pointing, very traditional and heritage work. This is actually a showpiece for our end of year show. So we're going up to Carpenter's Hall, and it will be showed for some of the stuff that is taught here at the college. We've got quite a nice big circular piece with some finer detail too for the finishes on the top.
So the course that we run here is like usually a 30-month course. It's a standards qualification, so at the end of the course they have to complete a practical task which is 12 hours, involves arches, circular work, cavity walling, battered walling. That's not where it's covered in batter, but it's basically where it's built at between 10 and 15 degrees. So we cover quite a lot of elements. The theory that backs that up as well, the portfolio is quite extensive. The apprentice has to get that portfolio together themselves. I compile it, and once that's complete, then we can put them forward for the endpoint assessment. We don't do the assessment. It's done by a knock-on, who's the awarding body. Yeah. They send down a completely independent assessor, so he's totally impartial, which is good because it means that he doesn't know these guys. You know, because if we know them, you're going to be, of course, you're going to be a bit more lenient. So. Yeah. He doesn't know them, or not. Yeah, absolutely.
If a guy's right pain in the arse,
and it can work both ways. So you're absolutely right. So the guy comes down totally impartial. It's literally on how well the work goes for these guys themselves. You know, if they do a good job, they pass, and if it doesn't go too well, then it can be a fail. But we've got good results at the moment, so we're more than happy. They've done a really nice job on this, though.
Yeah, definitely.
They've never done a herringbone before.
No.
To set the panel up, whatever, you know, it's been really nice little task.
It looks really good.
But we just thought instead of doing a half round jointing all the way around, we'll just put a bead on there.
Yeah.
So you know, we've never done a bead before, so
no.
We can't get a clamp on there because of the internal, and we're too close to the wall, so we're going to get a clamp on the top. It's nice letting the lads have a go with all this sort of stuff because it's, you know,
yeah,
stuff that they don't really get a chance to have a go at. So you set the whole thing out on the floor. Just like a jigsaw puzzle, you have to have the 45-degree angle, so no matter what size it is on the span, do the same thing to make it all square, so then you can diagonal lines, get your 45-degree angle, and you start from the middle and work your way out. Oh, is that what you do? So you don't start from the bottom, so your brickwork will always start from the centre lines at your 45 degrees, and then you just keep doing the herringbone out, and then so you'll finally get all to your edges. Then you put straight edges around that, where your measurements are. Draw your lines. That's you know where the cuts are. There's your panel.
That's clever, isn't it?
These lads are having a little go at all sorts. You know, it is quite good. We've got these two lads here. They've only been with me a week.
Yeah,
well, less than a week really.
It's been a long week, guys.
It's been long.
Very hot.
As I say, it has been really hot. They've done pretty good work actually. They built cavity walling. They're now going into 9-inch walling where they're going to start putting arches up as well. A good little group that I've got working here. They're all keen. What more can I say really? Yeah. Everyone's, I think,
what are you doing? You're working at the moment?
Yeah, working at the moment. Yeah.
What, on site or what?
Yeah, on site. So I just finished a job in Walthamstow, and my next job's going to be in Barking.
Oh, right.
I'll go there on the 21st, I believe, that Tuesday. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. Another challenge, another step forward.
And the firm treat you all right, don't they?
Yeah, everything's fine. Yeah, everything's all good.
there's plenty of other groups that I have,
Yeah.
but this is like the one where they're sort of like doing some really, really decent work
Good stuff.
at the moment. You know, we're managing to get them on some decorative work.
Okay, so if somebody wants to join a course, so what could they reasonably expect? Do they get a job first? And then come
Usually,
here?
with the way it works here is that we get the apprentices from the companies,
Okay.
or we get people that, like, I had a chap just come round about 15 minutes ago. He's given me his name. He's really keen. I will then pass his name on to one of the companies that I deal with, and if they can then interview him, if they like him and he fits the criteria, they'll take him on, and then they'll send him here as an apprentice.
Brilliant.
So we've got a very good working relationship with all our companies, you know, which is pretty good. You know,
So what is it, 1 day a week or what?
No, 1 week every 3 weeks. 4
yeah,
weeks.
it works the way it
Okay.
works out over the years. The
we
worst
do it
worst
in
case
blocks.
scenario is one a month.
In the site carpentry department, we teach apprentices learning the new standards.
So all the guys that come here, they're all currently working for companies, and they come to us on a block basis. So they'll come to us for a week at a time, back onto site for 3 weeks, back to us for a week. And that's over either a 12-month period if it's a level 3 course, or a 24-month period for a level 2 course. At the end of that level 2 period, that 2-year period, they'll take what they call an endpoint assessment. So that's like a practical test. And that's a 7-hour practical test based on criteria set by the awarding body. The level 3 guys do a similar thing after 12 months of training. We'll come and do a 7-hour practical test.
Are the MVQs gone then, or is it what's
So the MVQ still exists, but not within the standards. You can still do an MVQ separately.
So what's the new standard then?
So the new standard, it's still work-based evidence, so they still produce a portfolio of evidence.
Oh, okay.
But they're tested on knowledge, skills and behaviours. So they'll do a theory test like they always have. They'll do a professional discussion with the assessor, and they'll do a set practical test. So that's where the differences lie within the qualification.
So typically, what sort of work are they doing here? You know, are they building staircases and?
So we don't actually build the staircases. What they'll do is they make fit staircases. So the carpenters
That's fair enough, because most people get them from a joinery
will
shop.
get them from a joiner's workshop.
Nowadays, yeah.
But they'll do stud work. They'll do first and second fix, so stud work, installing linings. They'll do some structural work, so joisting. They'll do some truss rafter roof work. Depending on how well they get on with that, we might introduce a little bit of traditional roofing into the level 2. And then we'll do a bit of second fix, so hanging doors, ironmongery. Currently the guys here are working on skirting, and then they'll do architraves, patch repairing, that kind of thing. That's the kind of thing that will then come up at endpoint assessment.
So they're useful guys by the time they go out.
Absolutely,
Yes.
yeah. These are all the bread and butter skills of a carpenter, you know, first and second fix.